Hello, welcome to our channel. We want to introduce ourselves and introduce the lessons that we're going to be giving. First of all, I'm Jeanette, known as Jeanette in Mexico. ¿Y tú?
Hola, buenas tardes. Good afternoon. Mi nombre es Teresa, Tere, en México. Muy contenta de que nos estén viendo nuestros videos.
Okay, this particular set of lessons is a result of years of study that I have put in to focus on the lives of women in the Bible. And this became really important to me when I felt that so much of the teaching and preaching that I was hearing was emphasizing the heroes in the Bible, which is important. We need to learn about them. But a lot of times the women were going unnoticed, and yet they played such an important part. You know, God has used women throughout the ages, Old Testament, New Testament, modern times. He has a place for us, and sometimes a very specific place. And he uses women in all walks of life. And in the New Testament, they talk so much about gifts and how important they are within the church. We serve each other by the gifts that the Holy Spirit has given us. But it's important to spend some time searching, you know, what your gifting is. Obviously, in the Old Testament, they didn't have the gifts yet, but God chose these women with specific talents and, you know, abilities that made them the ideal person to serve in that capacity. So, do you have any thoughts on this?
Sí, como mi amiga Janet dice, todos estamos invitados en el plan de Dios a participar aquí en la tierra, y bueno, hay que aprender de las historias que nos ofrece la Biblia para nosotros poder conocer más cómo Dios quiere que participemos en los planes que tiene Él en nuestras vidas.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned stories.
Las historias.
Yes, that's such an important part of learning. The research tells us that one of the best ways to learn something and remember it is to associate a story with it. So in that sense, these stories about Bible women take on a lot more importance. And coincidentally, when you're learning a language, one of the, you know, key ways of learning new vocabulary and how it works in a, you know, a real life situation is to learn through stories. So we've tried to combine the best of both worlds here.
Sí, de los dos mundos.
Ándale. And we're here because we both taught languages. We both lived in a foreign country. So, and we're seeing the world is becoming more globally focused, and so many communities now that used to be have a sameness about them. Now you're seeing more bilingual, bicultural communities. So many more people are part of these communities, and it's such an opportunity and a need to learn a second language, or a third or a fourth.
Sí.
So we're going to share some of our teaching experience and some of these techniques that we've used to help teach language and incorporate them in with the Bible stories. And one thing that's important to your understanding, if you're hearing something or reading it, watching it, whatever, if it's a topic you're already familiar with, it makes it so much easier to understand.
Más fácil.
Yeah.
Decir más fácil.
Yeah, absolutely. So for some of you, these Bible stories will be very familiar. You may have grown up in the church or you've heard them, a lot of these women are very well known. We're starting with Sarah, and so many people have heard of Sarah and Abraham. So the familiarity is one thing that will help you. If you have a context for what the conversation is about, if you walk into a room and you have no idea what anybody's even talking about, it's going to be very difficult to understand. But if you know, okay, this is a story about Sarah in the Bible, so you already have a little bit of context. Another thing that's extremely important is repetition. Yeah.
Repeticiones.
Yes. Spend time going.
Una más.
Sí.
Una más. One more time, over and over.
Yeah.
Otra vez. Otra vez.
Until
vez.
Until you get
vez.
totally bored.
Sí, muy aburrido.
Yes, that's very
And
true.
If you're muy aburrido, maybe you're ready for más.
Yeah.
Ya estás listo para más.
Yeah, go on to the next level.
El siguiente nivel.
Okay, in teaching languages, there's 4 skills that are emphasized: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. ¿Quieres decir en español?
Sí, en un idioma tenemos 4 áreas que se deben de aprender. La primera es leer, la segunda es escribir, la tercera es hablar y la cuarta escuchar.
Okay. And the advantage we have now with so much material available online, it's easy to go and find these resources. And we've started to put together some of them, and we're going to give you some of the most obvious, the most important. So I'll let Tere start with that.
Sí, pues obviamente nuestros videos con nosotros, Estudia la Biblia, Study la Bible. También, por favor, 5 minutos todos los días de Duolingo. Duolingo. So Duolingo, you have to sign in an account on your computer or laptop, or if you want to utilize your cell phone, go to Duolingo apps, and then it's free. I mean, you can pay for more advanced, but I think just to start is good. That's the logo. If you see the logo, you know that that's the right app. You download it, and then you're ready to start using 5 minutos, 5 minutes every day, or 5 to 7, 5 a 7, until you complete like a lesson, and it keeps you motivated to do it every day, especially if you don't have anybody to practice the second language. Si no tienes nadie para practicar, Duolingo inglés, Duolingo español, all kinds of languages. So to start that's mainly for escuchar, listening, hablar, and just the basic, is the very basic, just like if we are little kids, como si fuéramos niños pequeños. Y el segundo recurso que les recomiendo es ir a los videos de YouTube. Hay un programa que se llama Superbook en inglés, el Superlibro en español. It's a Bible-based videos that even people all over the world can watch them, and on TV if the channel allows it. So, but you guys can go to YouTube. Pueden ir a YouTube al video, and it says Superlibros. You go to Superlibro, el personaje Sara. That's in español, in Spanish. El personaje means the character Sara. And then the duration of the video is 2 minutes, 18 seconds. So please, before you play it, add a subtitle and then adjust it for the language that you're familiar. Like if you speak English well, just do subtitle in English. And then the second time or third time you watch it, then you switch for the language you're learning. Okay? Repeticiones, repeticiones, repetitions.
Okay, right. Before we finish up here, I did want to mention that it's also a good idea to to go online and find people who are narrating the Bible. You can find different versions, different languages, and some of them are dramatized. So you have, sound effects and music in the background, and so it depends on what your preference is. So sometimes it's nice just to hear a comforting voice reading from the scriptures, and other times it's nice to get a little bit of that drama, and you're hearing different voices, and that it makes a story come alive.
Mm-hmm.
So those we'll be looking through those and recommending some of the best. But I'd recommend that you'd start with the narration of the Bible by David Suchet. Some of you may have heard the name. He's an actor in England, and one of his most famous roles, he plays Poirot, the detective Poirot.
Ah.
So, yeah, but his accent, of course, is English, but it's very clear, very understandable.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's that would be my first recommendation.
Mm.
So.
Okay, I my first one of the first books I started understanding really good and appreciating English was Little Women's by Louisa May Alcott, because I read it when I was a teenager in Spanish. Little Women, Mujercitas. So that helps also. And one
Right.
thing that it really helps me, like a native, because I learned English in Mexico and I didn't have people to practice my English, I have to, as much as I could, stop listening to music in Spanish. Like I start switching, because time is limited. Not everybody has so much time to do it. So try to avoid to have so many influence in your daily routine. So if you listen to a radio station, so downside is sacrifices. If you wanna invite a new language, it's easier that second language becomes stronger, más fuerte, when you don't allow the one that is stronger keep getting stronger.
Okay. Before we close, one more suggestion. If you live in a community, that has a lot of English speakers, Spanish speakers, you can go to your local library, and believe it or not, one of the best places to start is to get children's books.
Sí.
They're very, very simple. They're illustrated. So that's one of my recommendations.
Sí, muy cierto, so true.
Yeah,
Sí.
right. Okay, well, that's it for today, and we hope to be seeing you soon for the first episode of Sarah's life,
Sí.
which is the silence of Sarah.
Sí. Gracias por escucharnos.
Sí.
No
Nos
se les
vemos
olvide
al
darle
rato.
me gusta, like.
Right,
We need your
yes.
support. Necesitamos
Yes,
su apoyo.
All the buttons down below.
Sí.
You know what to do.
Sí, gracias.
Okay.
Adiós.
Adios.
Bye.